back here. This is Rabin. The Asta, Rabina, leader. Further ado, that makes sense.
I had no idea there's a yeshiva here. I had no idea there's a kollel here. I don't mean here. I mean in Lakewood in general. And the whole told us a big yeshiva here. I just found out. And I'm sorry that I was late. You know, Sviki told me but they had to put the Rosh Kollel. Yeshiva, Sviki, I don't know how to refer to him. He told me to be here at 9 o'clock. I'm telling you, but it's not my fault because I had the GPS. And, you know, no, even the GPS, when you're in Lakewood, even the GPS gets totally yeshivish on you. You can't understand the word it's saying. You know, the GPS starts mumbling and starts talking in a different language as soon as you get to Lakewood. You know, you put it in and you say, I'm going to East County Line Road. What? Also, my GPS is so clear. Wherever I go, you come to Lakewood and that's it. You know, you buy, I was thinking I had a hobby. I didn't want to really do this, you know, but I got a good deal. Somebody was giving away a Mercedes. And I said, oh, why not? They don't got German car. But you put it, I went into the car. I'll take it for a spin. You ever go into a Mercedes? Anybody ever drive one of those cars? Yeah. Right? You put on the GPS. What's your joy? I go, whoa! I said, what's going on? You missed the turn. It happens all the time. So recalculate. Figure out. You stupid! You missed your turn! You know, this is cursing me. I go, whoa! You know, you gotta be careful when you look at what car you get, you know. So I just figure I'll get a regular car, come in the GPS, and all of a sudden it starts talking all your shit to me. I can't find out. I think it's like, maybe stop it. I go, what? You know? Okay. This isn't supposed to be fun. This is serious. All right? And they told me that it's all the Purim, so we'll have a little bit of Purim here. So that's what I'm doing. Anyway. It's always a big covet. It's always a big honor. I'm always privileged to speak in front of a Chashav Island, to come to speak to a wonderful elite B'nai Torah. Tonight, unfortunately, I'm speaking to you. Only because it's Adar. I wouldn't have said that otherwise. In all seriousness, I have a very busy schedule, and Sviki said I had to stop in, and I tried hard. I was in the middle of a chasana, and they were actually looking for me now. It was an important chasana. I came, from New York to be there, and when Sviki said he wants me to see this, I said, he says I have people that are mamish, coming every learning Thursday night from 8:30 to 9:30, busy schedules, and I said, are they working people? He said, they're all B'nai Torah, and spoken like you. Right?
Again, you started.
Okay, listen, everybody has their own definition of B'nai Torah. I'll give you my definition. You walk around. I'm an Eloy. Anyway, so when he told me to come here, so I said, I'm very impressed that I have fellows. I said, what are they doing? He said, they work, they're working during the day, and they're taking off time in the busy schedules and families, and some married, some not yet, and they're able to put away time to learn us. And it's something that's very commendable, and in all seriousness, I am humbled and dwarfed to come here to see what's happening, and I really feel it is a schus, and I want to give everyone yashar koach, and especially to Rabbi Rubenfeld, for allowing me this time right now to say a few words. Last week's parsha, when it speaks about the Aron, so the language of the Torah is unique. When it's speaking about the Aron, it always says the Osisa, and all the other, when it speaks about the Mizbeach and the Menorah, the Osisa, when it talks about the Aron, it says the Osu. The only time that it's in Lashon Rabim, that it's pluralized, the Osu Aron Atzei Shitim, and then the Torah goes on to speak about the Badim, the Tabais, the Ori Yuha, Badim, La Yasurim Menu. Famous pasuk that says that you have to have the staves, the rods that go into the Aron Kodesh, La Yasurim Menu, And even when the Torah wasn't in motion, when it was stationary, when it wasn't in transport, at night, they weren't moving the Torah, the bottom had to stay in. Why did the bottom have to stay in? Why did they have to stay in? The bottom, they were put there to transport the Torah, to move the Torah. And here, take them out. You're not moving it. It's like a wagon. You have the Torah on a wagon, and you want to move something. If you're not moving it, they don't have it on the wagon. But it says here in the Torah, Tabas ha'oryu ha'badim, they have to have these rings, and they put in these staves, these rods. Lo yisurim men, it can never be taken out. The Taisus and Brachas asked the Kasha. Taisus and Brachas asked that we know for all mitzvahs, if you're going to repeat the mitzvah, then you repeat the bracha, and that's the rule, that's the klal. If a person leaves a sukkah, you go into the sukkah on Sukkot, and you sit down, you have a meal, you say Leishev B'Sukkah, Sheker Shom Zayzer Leishev B'Sukkah, you say the Birkat Samitz, you say Leishev B'Sukkah. You go out of the sukkah, you speak on the phone, and you take care of whatever you're doing for a half hour, 45 minutes, an hour, and you come back, you go back into the sukkah, you say Leishev B'Sukkah again. You put up a mezuzah, and you look at the mezuzah, oh, beautiful, wonderful mezuzah. You just affixed the mezuzah to the doorpost, you do the kind of mitzvah of mezuzah, and then you come back, you see it fell down. Fell down. Say another bracha. Say another bracha. You have to put it back on. You say another bracha. Even if it happened 10 minutes later, you have to say another bracha. Always. You blow shofar, you're going to blow for something, you always repeat the bracha. In fact, Taisus Akasha, Taisus asks that in the morning we say one bracha for Limud HaTorah. We say Shabbat Habana, we say Lasek B'Nev Torah, Shabbat Meikol Amin, we say Kama brachas, we say many brachas before Limud HaTorah, and then we take breaks. We go to work, we have our busy schedules. Taisus explains that that's why they have Yivarechacha and the Psukim that we have in Erev and the Mishnayos, so we're kind of mitzvah of Torah. Okay, so we're kind of mitzvah of Torah, Limud HaTorah at that point. But that's the only bracha that we say one a day. Even if we're going to be disrupted, even if we're going to be interrupted, even if we're going to have a break, and the break could be for hours. We're not talking about 5 or 10 minutes, like with a sukkah for an hour. We're talking about a real break. You can break for 7 hours. You wake up in the morning, you daven, even if you say you have a seder for an hour or two, and you leave to work at 10 o'clock, and you come home 4, 5, 6, 7 at night, hours. No one says another bracha for Limud HaTorah. Do you ever think about that? The Limud HaTorah is the only mitzvah that we can say another bracha, even though there's a hefsek and a long hefsek and a long break. It says Taisus because you never take a break. You might think you're taking a break, you might think that you're disrupting the mitzvah, but you're not. Because when you went to work, says Taisus, Rav Shul Birnbaum's Zatzal, Mirror Rosh Yeshiva, always said to all the people that used to leave the kollel, leaving their yeshivas to speak about this Taisus, says there's no such thing as leaving Torah. You're leaving kollel now, you're leaving yeshiva now, you're not leaving. You're going to work, and Taisus says that you're working so you should be able to learn. You had a morning seder, and now you're working, so you could come back and you could come to 953 East County Line Road and have a seder. You never took a break. It was all tzarech ha-mitzvah. It was all tzarech for Limud HaTorah. No matter what we do, is all for learning Torah. We always say that, I know Tzviki and Nachi, I know them from camp. We always told the boys after Shir, and I don't know how many people heard this, when they go to camps and they announce that the learning groups are over, they always say, learning never ends, learning never ends. Right? However, right now, Shir is over, and you go to the next activity of learning. The next activity for learning, may be basketball, may be baseball, but it's all to refresh yourself to continue learning. We never take a break. Everything is continuous. Does anyone know the difference between continuous and continual? Even a Torah is continuous.